to the cloud. Okay, welcome to this edition of the bi-weekly meeting for the cert-manager team, for the cert-manager project. We're September 4th, 2025. And today we have an agenda really packed. I will share my screen. Yes. And go away. And we will start with the announcements. Apparently, there has been something around cluster bundle, and I'll
Did I
let
add
Peter
this?
talk.
I can say a few words about that. I added the point to the agenda. I think it was a really good initiative from Peter to prepare an announcement around the cluster bundle, which I hope will arrive in Trust Managers sometime this fall. But seeing it now, I think I forgot to do the final review of it. But
You didn't forget. You did the review with some assistance from our friends AI, and
yeah,
it had some suggestions I wanted to correct because it
yeah,
knows English better than I do.
yeah. So that's the
Okay, so
announcement. Thank you, Peter.
excellent. Any other thing that has been missed? I I supposedly had to do a lot of releases and announce them now, but I found a way to push back, which means I don't have to fix any CV or anything this week. And I'm super glad. And I also found about Vex, but I'll talk about that later. Moving on to the agenda. So we have Erik, Hemant, Erik, and me. So let's start with Erik, who put his item first.
Yes, I can start with the first point there. I've been working with the upgrade to Kubernetes 134, which was released last week. Across our projects, it has been an interesting experience. It's actually quite a few changes in the new release of Kubernetes, which is affecting us in various ways. So we still have some projects which are not upgraded with dependencies to Kubernetes 134. In particular, Istio CSR, which has to wait until the Istio project is bumping to Kubernetes 134, which I'm not sure when will happen. I brought this to the agenda because it's been quite challenging, and I see a few things which I think we need to discuss, especially regarding the fake clients, which is a returning subject, at least to me. They are really problematic in the sense that when we get more and more advanced control plane in the real control plane, the API server, the fake clients have huge problems catching up. So they're trying to fix some of the issues, and they have done some changes now with Kubernetes 134, which kind of make them better and closer to the real thing, but they're causing us a lot of trouble for us. I see Hemant added a note to my agenda point because I asked him to take a look at, in particular, the Trust Manager project, where we have some very special tests that I find it really hard to fix in order to upgrade our dependencies to dependency to control runtime.
Yeah, and also it kind of feels like we are hacking the test to just make it pass at this point, uh, to accommodate for the fake client changes.
Yeah. As I wrote to Tim, I'm hoping Tim would say something around this, but as I wrote to Tim on a DM today, in this test in particular, we actually set the managed fields before when we apply the resource to kind of bootstrap the test. this is not possible with a real control plane and a real client. You will get rejected immediately. The only thing you can do in managed fields is to remove them completely, as far as I know. Yeah. So long term, I think we should consider the test strategies here. I have done some changes in that area, especially in Trust Manager, where I migrated some of the unit tests of the webhook to become an integration test using test-env. Because there you're using at least a real control plane, which allows you to not do funny things. Which will be a requirement for migrating to like newer features in Kubernetes, like cell inside CRDs, if you want to do some validating admission policies and other stuff.
And it seems like it's the only way for most tests to
Yeah.
to move them to integration tests. Yeah.
So and
Oh, you said env test, right?
no, to the integration test with the test-env, not the end-to-end test. That's very slow.
Oh, test-env is our own name for integration tests.
Yeah, that's what we use for integration tests. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So any comments? I'm hoping Tim can help at least in Trust Manager because we seem to be kind of stuck there.
Yeah, I can help, but I think there are some changes in Trust Manager that need more in control runtime that need more work, honestly. I quickly glanced over it, and yeah, it's like a lot of logic on top of the fake clients. Also, I think their apply function and their client is not really correct, because when you apply, what you get back is actually a full resource, and they kind of unmarshal that full resource into an apply configuration resource, which is different than how the generated clients work for Kubernetes. So I'm not sure why they did that, but I think those are things that probably will change. I'm guessing that. I think maybe the fake clients will also change still. I think we were a bit early, and we're kind of seeing all these early issues now because we are upgrading. I would probably advise the rest of the people in the call to wait a bit and see what happens when the other projects start trying to upgrade. But yeah, I can take another look at the control runtime upgrade and see if I can fix it, patch it, anything like that. But yeah, I'm a bit suspicious of what they have done upstream. I think it's not fully ready.
Okay, that's interesting. I can mention that I have upgraded controller runtime in all our project, and we are heavy users of controller runtime without any issues, at least. But we don't use the fake client, so if there's an issue in the fake client, we wouldn't see it.
And have you switched from the batch operation to the apply configuration in the clients?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not doing anything with the returned object, or do you?
No, we generally don't do anything with the returned object. So, and we have very good test coverage, both in integration tests and end-to-end tests. So and we haven't had any complaints from users. So I'm pretty sure it's actually working. So just a note.
Yeah. I just quickly looked at it and saw a few things that were kind of surprising. I thought, oh, maybe this will need a second iteration.
I think they will be very happy with some feedback and welcome any fixes. They make sense. I actually found a buggy control again while doing the 134 upgrade. So I had to file a pull request in Gateway API to work around the issue with control again. But they're working on fix.
What was the issue they found?
The issue was that Gateway API has started using type aliases, like when you define a new type with. So that didn't work. I mean, controller again wasn't able to resolve the type of the field. So I filed a PR upstream, which was accepted, which allowed us to upgrade cert-manager. So the workaround was to make the type alias, like I don't know the correct name, and you put the type equal to the other type, then it works.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. I'm happy with that. We could probably move over. It's a natural transition to the next point about project health in general. I think we are particularly at a bad place right now, mainly because Ashley is away, but also because like key maintainers like Tim and Richard in particular are not very available. So I'm struggling both personally to kind of get some progress on the things I'm working on. Luckily, Adam has been a bit available, but still, I'm concerned about the situation. We also have PRs, issues, a lot of stuff which needs to be done. So I wonder if we could do something to improve the situation short term. Long term, the answer is obvious. We need more people on board, I think, so we don't depend on a few key resources to make any progress.
I'm sorry I haven't been coming to the morning meetings. It's only part of it, but I don't know. We have a internal meeting at half an hour before the open source meeting, and usually that's been overrunning, and then I'm kind of exhausted with that after that meeting, and I'm usually feeling guilty about not having done what I said I was going to do in cert-manager. So I've stopped coming to the meeting, so I can't make false promises about what I'm going to review and stuff. Yeah, I am concerned about the health of cert-manager's project too. I feel like I think we need to push. We need to remind our managers that that CyberArk need allocated time, or allocate a single one of us as a single point of contact for each sort of what do we call it, a PI, don't we, internally? Product increment. Every quarter, one of us should be put on duty, on cert-manager duty. I
think that's kind of the only option we have short term to kind of try to convince CyberArk that at least short term, since they have those downstream products, if they want this to stay alive, I think some managers must allow key maintainers to work on our projects.
That's just my personal opinion. Go on, Mael.
Yeah, I had a discussion. We already talked about this, I think on Tuesday, maybe, or Monday. I can't remember. But the outcome of what we discussed was I told Peter that I would gather a few. We set up to convince upper management to give us more time. And I said I could give examples of things that would have been impossible if we hadn't been constantly monitoring and maintaining the project. But then I didn't do it. But I did do something. Wait, I did do something. I talked to David, the manager, and we discussed this percentage that we have allocated. But not only this, we also discussed the fact that we have unscheduled we maintenance work on cert-manager and planned work on cert-manager, and the maintenance work on cert-manager is being eaten by our internal maintenance budget. It's just a crazy thing of numbers, but just as a to put it in perspective, these 4 months that are ending in a month, I think. We only had 3% of the 30% that we are supposedly given. So on October, I hope that, and it's not, I hope, I will make sure that we get much more time. But like for three things: reviews, which is what we're talking about here. Reviews, releases. But I think we're in good hands for releases, right, Erik?
Yeah, I
So
think so.
mostly reviews and features if we have any. And I do have two big features that I can think of. This CVE handling, and which would benefit CyberArk, and the Gateway API X listener sets. But I'm sure we have tons of others. But these two, one has been approved, the X listener set, and the other one, the CVE one, is easy to get approved. So that's the schedule work, and then the review work. We are going to push really hard to somehow give us space, like give us one person to work entirely on reviews and releases.
So long term, we have to be even smarter, I think. I had a closer look at external system. So external secrets operator was trying to get a step further in the CNCF ladder, and they were rejected, mainly because CNCF found that the project was unhealthy. So I'm actually quite happy that cert-manager went to the top of the ladder, because right now I think we would be in a lot of trouble if we were scrutinized the same way external secrets operator were scrutinized. So we are actually too dependent on CyberArk, in my opinion. So we need to find more people like me who is working somewhere else. So we're not kind of fully dependent on one budget, which I think we are at the moment, and one company's prioritizations. So that's long term. I'm hoping we could onboard a couple of more maintainers.
I agree. I agree. Someone who's maybe not as experienced in the code base as the rest of the people here. I'd say we have a pretty high standard, which might be sort of maybe intimidating for some people to come maintain. So I just want to kind of keep that in mind. It's not like not a massive barrier, but to some people that might be a bit of a barrier.
Do you feel that way?
I know my limits, and I know what I'm willing to review and not. And I think that is a good point to remind people if they want to come forward on the project, that we should be able to trust people to review within their capacity. And saying it's great to learn, it's great to advance, but yeah.
I totally agree, and I will use the opportunity to thank you, Peter, for helping out at least on some of the Helm PRs, which I know you know very well, and I am just a noob in. So I think we should be easy to onboard new reviewers and trust that they will review things that they know how to review properly. Like we have to put some trust there, I think.
Yeah, I'm
I
also trying to pick up small issues to review. And then like, if someone else, like a maintainer can then review on top of my review so that there's less work to be done. That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to do. And I'm also trying to pick up issues that I can work on in my free time. Yeah, so definitely I want to go and climb up to the maintainer route. But I'm not sure how long that will take.
I think you're ready to apply for reviewer in the projects that you are kind of familiar with.
Yeah. Okay.
I would be okay to sponsor you, and I think you're doing a great job in like you said, pre-reviewing. It's not the official review, but just reviewing the PR.
Yeah.
And commenting that this looks good to me. I mean, it's really super helpful for the one putting the stamp on the PR.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So it takes less work from you guys because I might have done some, typos or some kind of structure changes that is missing. So it might help you guys out.
Maybe also I should mention that I've been experimenting with AI reviews on my personal repository. There is one project which is free for open source projects. I don't remember the name of it right now, but I can find it later. I wasn't super happy, but I think it's kind of could also be good support. I've seen Richard using a Copilot. Somehow I can't get access to it. I don't know why. I've
that's
been
weird.
trying to figure it out.
You are entitled to a free pro subscription.
Am I?
Yeah, you are.
Okay,
You
cool.
will get it for free if I don't know exactly what's the process, but any maintainer will get, or committer will get access to free
I never
Copilot
applied
Pro.
for it. It just sort of appeared one day, that option. But I do find it quite useful. It's often some of the review comments are misleading and some of them are kind of trivial and you just ignore them. But I've been using it, although frustratingly, I haven't got it on my work GitHub account. But when I use my personal GitHub account, I use that to review my own code first of all, and then
I think it's super for making suggestions on like nit things. So you don't have to write that much when you review it, because I mean, if the code isn't perfect, maybe the naming, maybe there's a better structure. I think that's not super important and not a blocker for the PR, but I think it's nice that you can consider the AI as a third person who is there and just commenting on it. So yeah.
So did I miss it? Anyone who's committing to cert-manager projects can get Copilot reviews or some Copilot thing?
yeah,
I
we
think
think
that's what
so.
Mael said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I
Okay.
don't know how to, like, seems like Erik doesn't have it, and now I'm
Yeah,
confused because
I don't see
it's the same
it.
as Richard. I just got it sometime, and
I will try to follow this up. This is new information for me. So but anyway, the app that I tested, it asks for a lot of permissions in our org, so I don't want to kind of put it forward. So I think we should, for now, just see if Copilot can be help. So yeah,
I think you can, yeah, you open the Copilot settings in GitHub, and
cool.
if you
Okay.
qualify, then it will automatically
I
and be
actually,
enabled.
for the lift and shift PRs, I've been using it to tell me if anything's changed. Like when you moved the config out of the file,
Yeah,
I asked Copilot, does anything other than the file location change?
that's super helpful. Okay, but I think we are running out of time, so we should probably move over to the next point if there's not anything more important to discuss around this. Over to you,
we can
Hemant.
move on. Hammond, first look into changes for Azure
Yeah, I think we
DNS.
discussed this briefly last time in the biweekly, and then I raised a PR. So I don't need a review as such because there's still work to be done regarding tests and stuff. I just want an opinion from the maintainers if this is okay to proceed with tests and stuff, because it is a change with the provider. But then again, it's also keeping up with kind of what Route 53 supports, because Route 53 supports private DNS, private zones, sorry. Whereas Azure currently doesn't. So that was the intention behind this PR. I know like changes with provider are kind of tricky because we are looking into like moving those things out of cert-manager project. So I'm not sure. Yeah, that's why that was the agenda.
What
Uh,
mean changes of provider, Hemant?
I think it's more the issuers that we want to move out of tree, and not the DNS providers necessarily.
Well, the Acme issuer includes all the DNS providers, and even then we talked about like is there a way we could plug in like these because we don't have environments to test all these DNS providers.
Yeah.
I'm right in thinking.
Will.
Am I right in thinking that most of this is just like fluff to do with the YAML change, and the actual change is just the one in Azure DNS Go, which is like just moving things into an if statement.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah. While I don't like touching these things often, this seems fairly harmless to add as a feature.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's uncontroversial, but Hemant, please put something in the pull. You haven't finished it yet, but when you've got it ready for review, put some evidence in the pull request showing what you've done to test that this actually works, beyond like end to end.
Gotcha.
That makes it so much easier to review and approve.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of referencing the code from Let's Encrypt Go, whatever repository. So yeah, but yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll do that.
I'm also for this, even if I don't have much experience in the Acme area with the DNS code, because looking at your description, I see that we already have support for private zones in Route 53.
Yeah.
So
was that quite recent? Have we had support for Route 53 private zones for a long time, or is it a recent feature? I had a memory that it was a recent addition, but
it's because the Route 53 API is the same for private or public.
Yeah.
Oh, so it just works if you
yeah.
use the right
Whereas Azure
parameters.
has different libraries depending on which one you're talking to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that helps. I think we can move ahead. Yeah, so this next one is kind of tricky. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Yep. Share. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a new cluster issuer that I created. And this was something that I noticed, I think last week or something when I was working. There is supposed to be this URI field, and it's kind of missing from the spec. And then I noticed that someone had filed a bug for that too, which is what I linked in the agenda. And I was reading through the code and I didn't find anything that was, setting it empty or stuff like that. Other than the fact that maybe the response itself might not have it. And then I went into a rabbit hole of reading the Acme spec of the response. I think it was response body location or something, or header location to figure out the URI. So that's where I'm at. But I want to know if this is expected behavior where like the URI is supposed to be empty, or is it a bug?
So that's in the status. It should.
Yeah. So it
It
should be
should.
status Acme, and then there should be a URI here.
Is it part of the CRD? Did you check it?
It should be. Let me check.
I mean, if it's outputting on the screen, then it has to be because Kubernetes trims unknown variables.
Yeah, it should be part of the CRD.
Oh, Omni 10.
Have we have we not been setting this field and it's been there just sitting empty for all this time?
Yeah, and the issue is kind of interesting. So, is my screen still visible?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the issue says that they had the URI set sometime before, and then it kind of disappeared. Yeah, so it says that at some point URI field was set, but then it became blank.
I saw my name in the Git blame on your editor. Is that?
You're all
So that
over the
makes me-
place, Richard.
Yeah, it makes me want to go and prove my innocence. But
The kind of thing we could use a git bisect to find roughly when that was introduced. Like just create one against the Let's Encrypt staging environment, and then just keep on changing the version upwards until it goes away.
Yeah, I can try that.
Wow.
But I mean, what do you guys think? Like, what should I do for this?
I think we need to reproduce it before we can do anything because we can't fix something we don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, technically, like in my cluster issue, at least, it doesn't show up. So
Yeah. So maybe we on a Klein cluster downgrade it to like
A different
cert-manager
version.
1.15 or 16 or something, and then just go upwards until it breaks.
Okay, I can do that.
It looks like a bug to me, if I'm not familiar with the code.
It definitely looks like a bug, and the fact it's not breaking anything makes me think that like we didn't really need those fields anyway, but we should still set them because if people are relying on them, then
Yeah.
compatibility.
Yeah, I'll try to experiment with like 1.15 or something and see if it sets the URL. Yeah, okay. That should be it from me.
Cool. Then it's my point. Octo STS, if I can go before you, Mael.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll probably share my screen. This is, let me see if I can share my screen. Do you see my screen now?
Yeah, almost.
Almost. I need to get this thing away. How do I? Oh,
Can
sorry,
anyone see Eric's screen?
Okay,
you see it?
now.
yeah, I can see.
Yes.
You see it?
Yeah.
Is it good? Okay. I'm first going to talk a little bit about the problem. Here I am in Google CAS Issuer project. You can see that we have some PRs which are remain open here. You have this self-upgrade to main, which should merge automatically. But the problem here is that since we're using the standard token, which is provided by GitHub in the workflows to do the self-upgrade, it won't trigger other GitHub workflows. So that means this is stuck now because there's no way you can run the CI so it will be mergeable. That's one of the problems I've observed, that some of the projects require manual intervention. Like here, what you could do to fix it is to close the PR and open it again. Then you trigger CI. And the same thing is happening in the website project. We also have GitHub workflows. So this one is also stuck for the same reason.
Sorry, can you said something about the token, isn't it because the event that triggers is different from the one that happens when you reopen something like that? I don't know, honestly. This
But
is the first time
anyway,
I see this.
these PR are kind of stuck.
But you have a solution, right?
I have a solution. The other problem I was trying to solve by looking into this was the fact that whenever we have some workflow files which are sourced from Makefile modules, and whenever we change those workflow files in Makefile modules, they're supposed to be upgraded by the self-upgrade workflow. But the problem there is that for the same reason, since we're using the standard GitHub token, it's not allowed to do anything with the workflow files, which is kind of natural because it's highly sensitive. So that means we have to raise what I name as a manual self-upgrade and get someone to review it if you want to follow the process that we should follow. I mean, I could always cheat since I have permissions to do so, but it's not right to do it. There is a script in Makefile modules that Tim wrote, which kind of opens pull requests in all the projects for a manual self-upgrade and ensuring that they can be merged without anyone reviewing them, which is kind of good, but I don't think it's a good solution. So what I'm proposing is to use Octo STS. I'm bugged by this thing on the top here. How can I hide it? Let me just close this to an easy solution.
You can't hide it, but you can drag it away.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm probably going to start with the PR to add some background. I don't know if you have looked at this PR. When we merge this PR, we will actually onboard Octo STS into our org. So that's why I want to discuss this in the biweekly. So Octo STS is a service provided by ChainGuard, which also includes a GitHub action, which is actually used in this PR here, the Octo STS action. What this allows you to do is to exchange the token that you automatically get injected into your workflow. You can exchange it with a stronger token, which kind of is similar to a personal access token that you need to, that's always a solution suggested by GitHub and Renovate and whatever thing that wants to do nasty stuff. But having personal access tokens, putting it in a vault or in secrets in the org, is not something that I would like to do because it needs to be renewed and we have to maintain it, and it's not really a good thing. We should be secretless as possible and use short-lived credentials. So in this PR, you can see that for the Renovate workflow, which is actually using now the standard GitHub token, it will be migrated to use a token provided by Octo STS by exchanging the GitHub token with a stronger token. So here I actually remove most of the permissions that the Renovate workflow currently have. So you see I remove all this content right, issues right, everything, and only grant it the ID token right, which is the permission you need to do this thing. So if the workflow is just slightly changed, so of course we need to add the action that is doing the actual exchange. Here you're providing some parameters on where we are and who we want to be and so on. And then in the subsequent steps, we just have to ensure that instead of using the token that is provided to the workflow, which now basically doesn't have access to anything in the repo, we'll have to instead use the token provided by the Octo STS action. So, and the same applies to the self-upgrade workflow. It's kind of very similar. You add this new step here, and then you ensure that all the following steps which require a token to do it uses the output of this action instead of the default one. So regarding permissions, this Octo STS works the way that you have to put files in a particular place in your repository where you specify the permissions. So they have to be in the folder .github/chainguard, and they have to be named according to the pattern, the identity you want to kind of be in this context, .sts.yaml. That's the pattern you have to follow. So if you look at the workflow down here, I've set the identity to make self-upgrade. This means that when you do this token exchange, you will get a token with the permissions specified in this file here, which is called make-self-upgrade.sts.yaml. So here you can find it very similar to the permissions that I actually removed from the workflow directly, because of course we have to do the same thing, more or less. But what you can do here is to add this workflows right, which is the thing that's causing all this trouble. So by merging this with the policies within here, things will more or less work the same way it is working right now. But we are able to add this new permission. And also we can add, for the Renovate, we can add permission to read some administration information and also to read the security events, which will allow it to be able to raise like vulnerability patch PRs, both to our default branches and eventually to our release branches also if you want to. But Renovate is another subject. I want to talk about Renovate in another meeting because there are still some issues with it. You've probably seen it, seeing them around. Yeah. I think that's it, which is interesting
Do
here.
we use what about the Octo? Do we give it some
Yes.
highly privileged,
I'm
like
really
a
glad
super
you asked.
admin?
It's not super admin, but of course it needs to have the permissions that it requires to be able to give someone else the same permission. So you have to grant it kind of the maximum permissions you want to ask Octo STS to issue a token for. Do you understand?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a GitHub app.
It's an app. We could, of course, let me see if maybe I just have to log in
Octo
here.
STS. Yeah.
That's sensitive. Sorry, guys. Should work shortly. Come on. Yes. Okay. So here we have the permissions here. So it has some permissions, but at least we have to sacrifice something to get something else.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean,
yeah.
we cannot get anything without.
What we could do possibly is to create our own app of this and decide the permissions ourselves.
Yeah,
Can't we go with this for now? Can't we go with this? Sorry, Adam.
I was gonna say, like, if we could self-host, we have a GKE cluster, but I honestly think it's probably fine to use the official app. Like, we can still protect our main branch through branch protection.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at these permissions, it could probably turn off branch protection. I don't know, but like,
I don't think
seems
it
like
can.
administration would be the one. Maybe.
They actually have a paragraph in the documentation stating explicitly that you should add branch protection, which we have, in order to protect this thing from doing anything bad to things you really care for.
Yeah. And that's the main thing. Like, as long as we protect the tokens from being able to just yeet things into the main branch. So someone couldn't do a well-crafted pull request that breaks our GitHub Actions, escapes, and puts things in main. Like that's the one thing we want to guard against, is it being able to poison our trunk.
Yeah. I think they're revising the permissions to the app quarterly or something in ChainGuard, because of course people want to use it for more automation. So the process is that you file an issue to ask if they can grant some new permissions to the app, which will allow them to issue a token which can do the thing that they want to do. So we should probably follow up on that if you decide to install it. Right now, it's enabled for just a few repos just to test it out. It was enabled in Makefile modules to, yeah, that was the initial thing to test it. And then we selected a few other projects which are not very important. I discussed with Adam. So this is the current state: Makefile modules, Helm tool, and webhook certlib. So as you can see here, here is an example of a PR in Helm tool for upgrading the action setup goal. This PR is not possible to get without Octo STS, because you cannot grant Renovate the permission to do anything with the workflow files. So this is now in a PR in Helm tool, which has been part of the proof of concept, which was raised by Renovate using the Octo STS. There's still a few things that I want to look into, whether we can change the icon here and maybe rename it, or I'm not sure what we're going to, should probably say Renovate here if we can do it. Not sure.
So any bot can create a PR to try and change our workflow files, but GitHub would normally not run the adjusted workflows because they'd come from an untrusted source.
Yeah.
So
if you try to upgrade workflow,
this allows Renovate to adjust the workflow files and for the adjusted workflows to actually be run by GitHub, so that we just have to review the results of the CI jobs.
But you're actually blocked even before that. Without the Octo STS token, these PRs will never appear from Renovate. It will just error out to say that it doesn't have permission. The same way you get an error if the self-upgrade workflow is trying to update workflows in the projects. It's just getting blocked.
But that it doesn't. I guess it doesn't matter. But what blocks it? I mean, any random person could create a pull request to try and change the GitHub actions in cert-manager.
It's GitHub blocking it. Maybe you know, Tim, because it's actually erroring out the self-upgrade.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah,
what's the question exactly?
The question is, whenever we change the workflow files in the repository base module in Makefile modules, the self-upgrade workflow will try to create a PR which changes the workflow file.
GitHub disallows that. So GitHub doesn't allow a token from a GitHub action to modify the GitHub action definitions. Because I guess otherwise the token might be able to like increase its privileges or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what was not allowed.
So that was one of the problems I was trying to solve, actually, because I've been doing so many manual upgrades just to get this, to test this thing.
But for like Go module upgrades, the problem was that DependerBot was using a GitHub token which didn't, but it wasn't, but the pull requests it created didn't have permission to actually run the GitHub actions that would show that, didn't have permission to run the GitHub actions, which, what am I trying to say?
You're thinking
Like,
about the
Yeah,
make generate.
make generate licenses and stuff.
Yeah.
There is another limitation. So the one limitation that we just said, and then the other limitation is that pull requests created using a GitHub action token, they cannot be the trigger for another GitHub action invocation. So you cannot create like this infinite loop of GitHub actions.
Yeah.
Right.
So what will
That's the
happen is
thing
the
I'm more
pull request will get created, but the GitHub action will not be triggered, even though it's defined as a trigger on a pull request. It's like filters
Yeah.
for that GitHub action, which is a bit weird. Because then if you do any kind of action on that pull request that would otherwise be recognized by the GitHub action, that manual action is actually seen by the GitHub action as a trigger.
As I said, if you close the PR and open it again, it will trigger the CI. That problem will also be solved by using Octo STS.
Yeah, it means, yeah, it's a nice thing that it just works. You don't need to faff around. Like, it solves the workflow issue over in GitHub Actions. It solves the pull request issue where actions aren't run. It's just a nice thing. I also like the lockdown permission models, and you can even do org level permissions. Like, you can create a .github repo in your org if you want to create org level policies that you can assume. Say, for example, we wanted to, I don't know, pull in a private repos or something. We could do that. But it does seem like a nice security posture.
And it saves us from having to manage these personal access tokens manually in secret. That's kind of, this is the secretless solution to pad tokens and secrets.
I'll
which
be honest.
Is something that we have done in the past, I think.
I'll be honest. If I was making a pat, I would make one of the legacy ones and make it last forever, and that's a bad security posture. Laziness wins out.
I will actually thank Tim for poking me about this. He showed it in a stand-up, and I read through it, and I really love the model they're taking here.
STS, Dan, Amazon have an STS service. And
Yeah, it's similar to
what's
that.
it stand for? Short-lived token.
Simple token service.
Short-lived token. Yeah, short-lived token service.
I think it's simple.
Or secure token service?
Simple, secure token.
So what's the decision here? Are you for, or is it a thumbs up or thumbs down?
I think it's a thumbs up. Yeah. I mean, have you got any doubts, Erik? I mean, we trust Chain Guard not to do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And the code is open source, like the app code is open source. So
yeah, but still they control it. So I mean, but in this world you need to trust someone. I mean, it's hardly impossible to operate anything without trusting someone. I think Chain Guard is probably an okay party to trust.
It's funny because the next topic was also about something Chain Guard did, but I will not be able to talk about it.
I'm sorry.
No worries. I think your work wins.
Thank you.
Your work is more important.
Thank you for running it, by the way. It's really nice to actually see it in completion.
Yeah, thanks. It's been some hard work. Thanks, Adam, for reviewing PRs and others also.
I'm not yet fully convinced about the renovate stuff, because it's creating lots of PRs and it's not always it's not working more, I think, than the Pandabot. It's still having.
It's working a lot better than the Pandabot, but I suggest that we postpone renovate for a later meeting. I agree that the configuration is probably not ideal at the moment, and I'm also a bit in doubt whether it's so much better than the Pandabot. So
Renovate had the promise to, like, it can upgrade all the tool versions in Makefile modules and stuff like
that's
that.
made
can't it?
already.
It works.
That's almost done.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That sold it
is-
to me. Yeah, that's great.
That's very impressive.
So we'll never be using out-of-date versions of kind. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is automatically
And-
updated now.
And we'll have projects with endless update, make, clone, upgrade every single commit. Like I've looked at Trust Manager, it's like a long list. No, approval policy. It's like a long list of make, upgrade, clone, make, upgrade, clone.
no one can
The only
say
thing
the
that's left-
project's abandoned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The only thing that's left-
exactly.
Yeah.
We just have to do auto releases. Like
Yeah.
every 10 commits we automatically release, and then
It's not abandoned. We've
Everything is
automated ourselves out of a job.
yeah.
But I think Renovate is a lot more flexible than Dependabot. So I think we should give it a bit more time. Obviously, we should make the configuration better. I agree with you, Tim. There's too many PRs, but it's actually doing the right thing compared to Dependabot, which cannot run make, generate, and go vendor and whatever we need to run. So
Also works on
Okay.
the cert-manager repo with its multiple Go mod files, which Dependabot didn't
Yeah.
like.
yeah.
Awesome. I mean, you guys were joking, but I think it is good that we automate all this and that customers can enjoy quick dependency upgrades without us having to put a lot of work in that. We can focus on more on the bug fixes and the features.
I was
I can-
joking, by the way, when I was complaining about the commits. It's a
If we would,
no. I'm super glad that like all these tools and base images and all of that.
we were talking about it in one of the stand-ups, how our security posture is very much like, if it's not like it's not provably in our thing, like vulnerability ports aren't good for us. We do check and we do action when it's actually a vulnerability, but it's also a good stance to have that. Yeah, they're probably going to make the fix you want is probably going to make it in an automated manner anyway. Like it's not like going to sit there with that vulnerability for months on end. Yeah, it might be an immediate response from us because we're not going to jump to attention because something that's not going to affect us has been reported. But it does mean like the next patch release should solve your problem.
Yeah. But in most of the project I work on for my company I work for, we use release please, which I'm a big fan of, which allows me to cut releases whenever. Just approving a PR and then you get a new release, which is kind of nice.
What is release piece? How do you write that?
Release dash please. It's a
Release
product
please.
developed by Google.
Yeah. And it uses that semantic commit thing, right?
Yeah, that's the bad thing about it. You need to have some semantic commit enforcement, or conventional commits as they're called.
I don't know. I heard Miles said it is released peas, and that's tickled me.
Yeah, I heard piece.
Yeah.
Release
Okay.
piece, like make piece.
To finish off the Octo STS, I'm hearing that we are doing it.
Yes,
Yeah,
we are.
good. So then I will merge the PR and then I will follow up in all projects because it requires a manual self-upgrade to do it. Or maybe I can use Tim's script, cheating script.
One last time.
Yeah.
We can keep
Maybe I will
the
do
script,
that.
just not run it anymore.
Oh, peas.
In case of an
It will be
emergency.
ran
we
for
can
the
still-
last time. Hopefully.
So in that PR I just linked to in Makefile modules, how did that happen? How did Renovate even update all the SHAs and in the right places?
Whenever
Yeah.
Did it run one of our make targets or?
Just learn the image SHAs, which is called by Tim.
Yeah, so there's a make command to update the SHAs, and Renovate is configured to run that make command after it updates steps.
So it's not triggering a GitHub action to run those things. It's doing it in its own.
We are actually running self-hosted Renovate in the workflow at the moment. So it's just
right.
doing it in a workflow as part of the process of preparing the PRs that they want to raise.
Wow. Okay. I'll have to go and understand all this. This has all happened since I dropped out of existence on the cert-manager project. That's really
Why does
cool.
it say Mac OS? Are we running a Mac OS computer? Like the test on Mac OS?
It's a GitHub action,
Yeah.
and I imagine it's testing that make doesn't break on OS X.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent. No, sorry, that's a very good news.
Yeah.
It's not testing everything. It's testing like a subset of the functionality. But like obvious issues should be detected by that.
I love that.
I-
Is that because you plan on migrating to Mac OS?
Join us. Join us.
I have a question for Tim. What do we do with the Go licenses? We're actually using Tim's fork of it right now.
Good question. Not sure whether upstream has done anything. I mean, Kubernetes also depends on Go licenses, so it's not like some weird dependency that we have. Kubernetes also uses this. For some reason, they don't have any issues with it. We have had many. Maybe we just fork it. Create our cert-manager Go licenses.
I found a project. I found evidence the other day of a project who's just ditched all of this, including the licenses everywhere. I think where was it? It was like I find it, but there was a whole discussion I found where they just stopped embedding all these licenses because it turns out it wasn't actually necessary in the first place.
So we no longer actually include the URLs and the version numbers, which means that we could actually use a very simplified version of Go licenses instead, I think. It's like a lot of complexity comes from guessing. Although, wait, actually, it also still needs to fetch the license, of course, to detect what license it is. Okay, yeah, maybe it's not that much simpler. But it does the HTTP calls that it does, that can be simplified, I think. Because the license files are already in the Go mods bundles that it downloads, so it gets those from the cache. The HTTP is only to distinguish between certain edge cases that result in the same cache.
Oh,
but are actually originating from different URLs.
Does Go, like the Go proxy, also pulls the cache? Oh, it pulls everything from the repository.
Yeah, the Go proxy contains the licenses, so we
I
don't
think
have
the
Go proxy.
simple solution right now is to try to follow up on your PR in Go licenses, which is actually blocking this. Do we have any friends or anyone we could ask? Is there a Slack channel or something we could do to?
It's a Google project, right? Isn't it that in Google anyone can commit to their? I don't know. Do we just need someone at Google?
Do we know
We could
anyone?
ask Jordan Leggett.
Does he ever come to this meeting?
No. I'm just joking. I mean, he's the main approver in Kubernetes, so he won't do that, I presume.
Well, Kubernetes also depends on this, so they could benefit from this.
Or we could break them. End up breaking them.
Okay. We are
Okay,
10 minutes
I guess
over.
we can close now. Can stop now. I will talk about CVs later. I'll have more time to think about it. Thank you all, and see you in 2 weeks. And by the way, subscribe and thumbs up. Is that all? And ring the bell.
Great, good job.
See you guys.
Bro, YouTuber. Bye.
Cheers.